Out of this, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is once again asking President Trump and Congress for more missile systems to defend against Russian attacks. This follows a Russian drone strike on the capital of Kyiv Sunday. In a letter obtained by CBS News, Mr. Zelenskyy framed the fight against Russia not just as a regional war, but as a test of American leadership and its Western alliances. Meanwhile, a UK spy chief says 500,000 Russian soldiers have been killed in the war so far. It's a staggering number. CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio joins us from our London bureau with more of a bit of a status update of this war. Good morning, Ramy. What is the situation like in Ukraine right now?
Errol, yeah, and you know that headline that you just talked about, the 500,000 mark, is making people look up. This is from the UK's electronic spy agency, the new chief just sworn in yesterday, Anne Keese-Butler. And this is the highest estimate that we've heard to date on the losses of Russia's military. Looking back, the most recent estimate we had was from December. That was from CSIS, and that put it at 325,000. So this is 175,000 more than that. And it would dovetail as well with analysis this week that Ukraine appears to be regaining momentum on the battlefield. That coming from the Institute for the Study of War. But that, of course, doesn't mean that Russia has stopped. Overnight, more Russian attacks. That included at least one ballistic missile and nearly 150 drones, according to Ukraine's Air Force. At the same time, Russia's massive strike in around Kyiv on Sunday, you mentioned there, still on the minds of a lot of people. About 90 missiles there, 600 drones, including a hypersonic ballistic missile. But also overnight, there was outgoing from Ukraine. The military there said it hit a massive Russian oil refinery on the Black Sea. It had been targeted several times in the past. And Kyiv says that it processes about 12 million tons of oil each year, and then a lot of that fuel goes to Russia's military. So the back and forth still continues.
And where do things stand as far as U.S. support for Ukraine? We know Zelenskyy has always wanted additional help.
Absolutely. And this morning, that was at least called into question for a couple hours. There was a diplomatic flap about that. The EU's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, said that the U.S. embassy in Kyiv had been shut, that its doors had been closed. This was in response to a journalist who had asked about Moscow's warning earlier this week for all the Foreign Service staff to leave their posts in Kyiv. Take a listen to this.
What they are doing now is really increasing the terrorist attacks, because you can't really describe it in other ways, creating fear inside the society. It hasn't worked for 4 years, but I don't think that it's going to work now. Also, what we heard from Ukraine yesterday was that all the embassies stayed except one. So that also takes courage from those embassies. But yes, all the Europeans stayed. America left.
Yeah, but the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv quickly replied with a social media post on X saying the U.S. Embassy is open, reports otherwise are false. And you can see that photo there, Senator Richard Blumenthal and Representative Jim Hines from Connecticut in country. They both met President Volodymyr Zelenskyy yesterday, and he asked President Trump for more help. We did not hear anything from President Trump about anything about this alleged closure, and again, pushing back here that the Kyiv Embassy is still open.
Yeah, an important reminder that that war still rages on. Ramy in London for us. Thank you, Ramy.